All right. Hello, Lily. Hello, Seal. Hello, Lamb. Hello, Manu. Hello, Anthony. And hello, generic name. Um. Oh my goodness. Immediately starting off great with my throat immediately dying. Hello, Arachnid. Hello, Styro. Hello, Krista. Thank you, Anthony, for renewing your membership. I do not remember the time that I ate 6 lemons, but I'm sure it was a good time for everyone involved. It's pretty good. I've used it before a little bit. I don't think I've used it for an entire playthrough, but I've used it for like half the game and replaced it with the Life Hunt Scythe. I do remember the Life Hunt Scythe being really good, but at the time I also didn't know about like buffs or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. The best weapon in the game? No. But I'm sure it's good. There are definitely weapons that are better. I started as the Wanderer class because it has the dex requirement off the bat, and it's very close to the strength requirement. Is actually the closest class for the strength requirement. I'm pretty sure I did everything I could to hide my face in that live stream, but there is, in fact, a live stream of Anthony and I sleeping in the same bed. So in case anyone wants to try and look for that. Yeah, well, I wasn't when the live stream happened, so I don't know. I as good as I'm sure the Great Scythe is, because I mean the Life Hunt Scythe is good and the Great Scythe is better. I mean there's no way it's better than like the Gargoyle's Halberd, right? Or the Painting Guardian Sword. Well, now you can do a scythe run with me. Oh my goodness. I did have an eye infection. And we thought it was a staph infection. I'm not going to continue as to what it actually was. I forgot what it was. And I don't think this is the appropriate place to say what it was. Oh, right. I want to look at the live chat. It wasn't actually pink eye. It it was an infection around my eye, but it was not an eye infection. No. Wait, seen me do way worse than sleeping in a bed with someone. What does that mean, Seal? What have you seen me do? Define worse. Okay, so the requirement is 1414. It scales basically exclusively off dexterity. It's an EB, I think. Either EB or EA. So I'm basically just going to be leveling my dexterity to 40 after I get strength to 14, and then go from there. Oh, true. I forgot that that was posted in the Discord. I have a Discord, link in the description. Apparently, I do things worse than sleeping in a bed with someone on that Discord. Has so little social elements, one has to stream it. This game has quite a few social elements. I don't know, more than a lot of ARPGs at least. Loving Dark Souls 2 in the Discord, actually. YouTube is glitched. Oh. It does that. I don't know if killing this guy is worth the time that it takes. Ow. Okay, no, it's not. Watch me die onto the skeletons on my way to the Great Scythe. Jesus. I couldn't remember if it was where I thought it was. I watched a YouTube video on like the location before I started the stream, like half an hour ago, and the video that I saw was very funny. It's always funny to watch someone like panic roll in Dark Souls 1. And it was like an old video. It's not like it was a newer video of someone who started with Elden Ring or whatever. They were just playing Dark Souls 1 and started panic rolling. Excuse me. Admittedly, I do that sometimes. But I do my best to avoid it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I need to like actually look at the screen and pay attention. I think I need to... Well, need to is a strong word. I think I'm gonna quit out here for safety purposes. I think getting Power Within will be a good idea, only because bunny damage. And hopefully I'll be able to get it without dying in Blighttown. Why would I panic roll when I can just panic? That is a good point. They also went all the way down, lit the bonfire, and then came over here for some reason, instead of just dropping right there to get the Great Scythe, which was interesting to see. Oh my goodness. There it is. Okay, we can get out of here. I also need to, I always forget to like do the things that let me see how my stream is doing before I start the stream. Anyway. What am I doing? Equipping the Great Scythe. This probably won't give me a level, so I'm just gonna run. How heavy is it? Heavy enough. I could actually get the large ember now. I'm just gonna get the very large ember and very large ember off the bat. That's because I think it'll be funny. The two-handed moveset? Yeah, I've never used the one-handed moveset. I don't even remember what the attacks are, to be honest. I do want 14 strength for riposts. Oops. But otherwise, I probably won't be using the one-handed moveset at all. Excuse me? Sometimes this guy just doesn't aggro, and sometimes he does that. Okay, let's see how quickly I can get depth clip. The mods are setting a great example of the kind of behavior I expect in this live stream. Almost. You would think with how often I do this, I could get it first try consistently. It's been a long time since I've gotten this first try. There we go. Which is exactly why you two make the perfect mods. I would hope so. If it's not spreading, then something's going horribly wrong. I have to spread the trans agenda. My brace keeps falling off. I need to get a new one. Yeah, the scythe is in the catacombs. It's like right near the top too. You push two levers, drop down, and it's right there. I don't know, people are always astonished by like the speed that I move through this game, as if I haven't played it well over 100 times. Like, I get it. But I don't know, I feel like at some point you get used to it, right? Admittedly, it's not everyone, but a good chunk of people. The skeletons kept stabbing you? Well, just dodge, silly. The mods are flirting. Like I said, the mods are exhibiting the perfect example of the behavior I expect from the chat in this live stream. Oh. Wow, that's really slow, huh? Hello, Dio Brando. Welcome. I woke up like an hour and a half ago. Patient zero of the woke mind virus. As you should be. There you go. I don't think I need to talk to him after I free him, but I'm going to anyway. Okay. If I had gold pine resin, I would fight gaping now. But because I don't, that would make getting power within easier, but it would make everything else harder. Like, I would have to fight Gaping Dragon with a +0. It is pretty fast on the follow-up, but the first attack does take a second. What sort of Discord server for the Solar Pellets YouTube channel? What? No such flirting goes on in my extremely wholesome Discord server. How dare you assert such a thing? Yeah, it's 3 p.m. and I woke up like an hour and a half ago. So I understand your sleep schedule. Okay, now to entree. People tend to flirt with only with people who are also flirting. You know, because like consent and all that. So I don't know. You kind of got to join before you get reciprocated. Hello, Charlie. You joined at a wonderful time. The JoJo mod for Dark Souls 3? There's a JoJo's mod for Dark Souls 3? I was unaware of this. I actually don't look at Souls mods very often. My brain currently with the Scythe, the only game that I've used any scythes in recently was, speaking of mods, Elden Ring and Elden Ring Night Rain with the Vins mod, which makes the Scythe moveset insane. But so my brain is slightly in that mode, but it shouldn't mess me up because Dark Souls 1 has a different mode in my brain. Hopefully I should be okay. You know, some people, that's exactly what some people want, Seal. Cancelled for flirting. It does help. That's true. I think YouTube censors... Wait, what? Why did I already have the 18 plus mod get censored? What is YouTube doing? YouTube no think either, apparently. I don't know if I should go into the ghost house instead of jumping over the stairway like that. I guess we'll find out if that makes it inconsistent. YouTube censorship being inconsistent and weird in a solar pellet stream? In what world? I think it does. Oh my god! My finger slipped. I was trying to run and I accidentally let go of the button. Hey, try it. Let's try again. You know, I like to have the chat up on the screen in case I decide I want to turn... Oh my goodness, excuse me. In case I decide I want to turn a stream into a video, it makes it way easier on me because I don't have to, like, add in the chat afterward, like I did with the first couple streams that I edited. But at this point, like half the chat just isn't on screen, because on screen is the live chat, or I mean the top chat instead of the live chat. So half of it just like gets censored by YouTube. I don't know how useful that is. Oh my god, ow. That hurt. Quitting out is, I mean, it was one of the first things I learned how to do quickly in Dark Souls because it's so useful. Like any fall, you can just say no thank you to and be fine. So you do kind of have to get used to it, but quitting out quickly isn't that difficult. Once you have played the game as much as I have. Krista. Not here. Uh oh. There we go. Top and live chat are one of the best parts about YouTube. I just wish I could bring down the censorship a little bit for my chat specifically. The moveset is funny. I agree. Thank you. I don't wanna fall and die actually. Thank you. That is extremely relatable, Mano. Should heal before I drop. I need to kill at least one Dark Wraith to get the chunk safely. We'll see how this goes. No such thing as... First of all, no one is... No, that's not true. There are very few ugly people. I was gonna say there's no such thing as ugly, but then I remembered certain, unfortunately, very famous people. Oh my god, thank you! How good is the best X weapon? Okay, that's very presumptuous. Thank you for the money. See, the problem with anyone asserting that any weapon is the best weapon is like 99% of the time it's because of how easy it is to get, combined with its like moveset based on your personal playstyle. Based on the time that I have used the Great Scythe in the past, the Boulder Side Sword is just kind of better. But the Great Scythe is still really good. Yeah, but you still gave me money. It's not about the monetary value, it's about the thought, you know? And I appreciate it. You are absolutely not, Menno. Not even remotely close. Smo! You should go to sleep. But hello, I hope you sleep well and are able to hopefully not die tomorrow with too little sleep. Oh my goodness. Self-deprecation as a means of getting more praise. She's gaming the system. I'm glad that's consistent, because otherwise this would be a really annoying chunk to get. Oh. Oh, wait. I can still get the chunk. Oh, and I can survive. Oh my goodness. I didn't even think of this as a potential benefit. Now I gotta grab the red tearstone ring too for free? Yeah, I haven't been playing that much Skate, especially recently, but I had like 20 hours in it, and I finished all like the main story stuff and everything. In Eggman's egg carrier. Oh, and it's like, sure. I thought you were, I thought you were making a joke about like actually being in Eggman's egg carrier, and then I remembered that you were playing Sonic Adventure. Pardon me. Whoa, everything's fun. Ah! Damn it. There's no story? No, like there's like the V's missions, and then there's also like the quests or the missions that you unlock while doing that. That get unlocked like as you progress through those V's missions. Like, I guess those are tutorials, but there are also missions that unlock as you complete them that aren't part of the tutorial. Thank you so much, Mo, for being a member for 3 whole months. That seems like a long time to be giving me money consistently. I appreciate it immensely. The one thing that has like really been annoying about Skate to me in any of like the main missions is the one that teaches you how to manual, where you need to start your manual in the zone instead of manualing through the whole thing. Anyway, Dark Souls, am I right? I don't know. I don't have much to say about Skate. It's a silly game. More furiously angry? Why? You don't have to play it. It's not a requirement that you play the video game. You don't need to get angry at it. I don't think. I don't know. Hating on games can be fun though. You can just play indie games. That's the real solution to all your gaming industry problems. Just play indie games. Good night, Smo. Thank you for being here while you could. And I hope you sleep well. Like to wish my enemies good night. See, now Smo's gonna be asleep when I get to that fight, and it'll be easy. I only have to fight Ornstein. Yeah, Balatro is really good. It's been a while since I played Balatro. I don't know, not even necessarily the big indie games. CarQuest is one of my favorite games of all time, and like 2 people know about that game. Well, 2000 because of Simple Flips, I guess. Pardon me. Oop. I need to actually pay attention to the video game, apparently. Yeah, Sonic Adventure is a weirdly loud game. I think I have it on like 5% in my Windows mixer. Hello, Hunter Bunny. What's the difference between this moveset and the Dark Souls 3 moveset? Right. I'll need 1 more level in strength to one-handed riposte. That's not a lot of damage at all. Would it be better to go for bleed instead? I think it gives you like a grace period of like a week or something to renew a membership, so you would still get like the next membership badge even if you don't renew it before your current one ends. I don't know how that works with gifted memberships, though. I don't know, I'm not exactly a Dark Souls 3. Well, okay, I'm a Dark Souls 3 apologist, but in every aspect, I think Dark Souls 1 is better than Dark Souls 3. I don't know. I guess I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't know. Or, well, I have seen it. I've used the Great Scythe in Dark Souls 3, but I don't remember it. I like Dark Souls 3, but I don't know. Personally, I prefer when I can see, oh my god, enemies coming, instead of killing one enemy and then 4 more pop up literally behind me in the tutorial level when I have no way of possibly knowing that's going to happen. And like, yeah, it sets up the rest of the game to be like that, so you're expecting ambushes, which is its own style of gameplay, which isn't bad, but it's definitely not preferable for me. Dark Souls 2 is better in most aspects, though, too. The 2 funny bug games. Hollow Knight and Silksong. Yeah, do enjoy not flinching from every single attack, no matter what. Yeah, poison is a pretty cool mechanic, right? That they had in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. That they improved upon from Demon Souls, which everyone agreed with. And then they got rid of it for Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring for some reason. Oh my god, press the button. Okay, everything's fine. Yeah, normal Elden Ring. Normal Elden Ring isn't bad. It's hard to replay. Large Titanite. I guess that means I only need to buy one, but I would much rather have a chunk. They were sick of the ninja flipping giant dad memes. Well, that's why they changed it in Dark Souls 2 to be more of a stamina system instead of an instant reset system. I mean, to be fair, Tortalos do instantly stun you or stagger you in Dark Souls 1, even in full levels. So it's not unprecedented. It's just they gave that ability to every enemy. Is active poise based on your weapon in Dark Souls 3? Like, is it exclusively based on your weapon, or does your armor influence it at all? A Dark Souls 3 remake? Not a remaster, a remake? The game came out... Oh my god, wait. The game came out almost 10 years ago, never mind. Like, it's a fairly new game, isn't it? And then I remembered that just because I started playing Dark Souls 3... Oh my god, I started playing Dark Souls 3 in 2018. Hey, a chunk. Damn, I'm old. Dark Souls 1 remaster remake. I feel like if Bluepoint did any of the games, and yeah, like any of them, I think either Bloodborne or Dark Souls 2 would benefit the most from a Bluepoint remake. Like, it wouldn't be faithful. If we're going under the assumption that it wouldn't be faithful, like how the Demon Souls remake wasn't entirely faithful in terms of story and atmosphere, then I think Dark Souls 2 would benefit the most from like a Bluepoint remake specifically. I don't think I would like a Dark Souls 1 remake though, honestly. And I know a lot of that is from this is my favorite game of all time and a remake would ruin it mentality. Even though I can just not play the remake, but I don't know. Dark Souls 1 and 2. Dark Souls 2 remaster? Since when? Are we talking about Scholar? Okay, I need 8,000 souls, at least. I don't know if this will get me it. There's 72. Or no, I do need 8,000. But I can get some from the enemies. Oh, true. Well, I don't know. I feel like a remake is in a different camp than a remaster, right? If they remade Dark Souls 1, I would be shocked if they removed Dark Souls Remastered from the store. Because, I don't know, even with Scholar and Dark Souls 2, the vanilla game is still available for purchase, including the DLC, right? I'm excited to have actual damage. Yeah, Bloodborne and Demon Souls on any other console would be really great. Wait, what about the Emerald Herald set? That's not related to Dark Souls 3 at all, is it? I don't think there's anything close to the Emerald Herald set in Dark Souls 3. That feels like kind of a reach. To be fair, I see the motivation, or not motivation, but the like rationale behind removing Prepare to Die Edition, because it is an objectively worse version of the same game, in terms of everything except for some minor lighting changes that some people prefer. So like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's just such a different territory to be in, because Prepare to Die Edition, it performs worse. You know, you have the 30 FPS thing, with the only way to increase that being a mod that From doesn't sanction, obviously. On top of just like a lot of weird technical bugs. I think it's less that they wanted people to buy the new one and more that they didn't want people to buy the old one because it's glitchy on modern hardware, let alone how poorly it performs on old hardware in a lot of ways. So, and at this point, a lot of mods are also on remastered. I mean, yeah, I bought Prepare to Die because I'm insane and I wanted to have Prepare to Die edition, but I don't know. I don't think I don't think it doesn't make sense that they removed it. Okay, let's see if I can do first try sin skip. Hello? Okay. This is way too high. Glad you didn't play it during the PS3 era. Yeah. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. It would have been cool to like be a part of the community, but it was also like 11, so. Okay, how old was I? The game came out in 2011? I was 9. Was I? Yeah, I was 9 when the game came out. This is still too high? So like even if I did play like later in that era, I would have been too young to like really be part of the community and everything. Oh my god. Pardon me? What's... Okay. Everything's fine. Sonic Adventure cutscenes are pretty incredible. Arguably, Sonic Adventure 2 cutscenes are better in terms of jank and comedy, but Sonic Adventure 1 has some pretty good cutscenes. Oh yeah, Prepare to Die game. Well, the PC version came out in 2012, right? I'm pretty sure the PS3 and 360 versions came out in 2011. Like late 2011, right? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've looked at anything having anything to do with the actual like technical history of Dark Souls. Okay. I need to kill the giants. Bleed makes that a little bit easier, but not that much. Oops. Six in 2011. Hold on, my brain's not braining. So you're... Wait, there's... Okay, I know what the answer is. I did the math. But that feels wrong. Born in 2005? You're 20. Oh my god. I feel old. I was born in 2002. I'm 23. The math makes sense, but that feels wrong. Yeah, bleed makes up for a lot of the damage here. So surprisingly fast, actually, which is nice for the bleed build-up. There you go. You're from 1995. See, but you're older than me, so it doesn't feel wrong anymore. I mean, to be fair, there are also 20, 30-year-olds whose first Souls game was Elden Ring, and I feel bad for them. I'm glad I started playing in 2018 when Dark Souls Remastered had just come out and it was like the new Souls thing that everyone was talking about. Because it really like put me in the position of a new Souls player, but still gave me a chance to interact with the community with what has ended up becoming my favorite game of all time. And like Dark Souls 1 is still very commonly talked about, at least in the community, if not as commonly played. I was born in the 1900s. When I say my first Souls game was Dark Souls 1, it's kind of weird, because I started with Dark Souls 2 Scholar, but I played it for like... I played it through No Man's Worth, and a little bit of the Bastille, but I never like got that much farther than that. And then I went back and played Dark Souls 1 and beat it. Or no, I played a little bit of Dark Souls 1, then I played Dark Souls 3, then I went back and beat Dark Souls 1, beat Dark Souls 2 Scholar, beat Dark Souls 3. And then I'm trying to think what games I played after that. I bought a PS4 to play Bloodborne, which was a choice that I made when I was significantly more financially stable. And I enjoyed it. And I'm pretty sure Bloodborne was the one that I played next, because that was when Skyen was doing his Bosses of Bloodborne series. And then I think I played Demon Souls via emulation. And then I bought a PS5, mostly for the Demon Souls remake, which I played. And then I played Elden Ring as it came out. I played the network test as well, but I don't remember what order I played everything else in. I've played all of the Souls games, thankfully. Skyen is pretty great. I want to rewatch the boss designs of Dark Souls 2. That one was really good. I haven't been enjoying the boss designs of Elden Ring quite as much, but I don't know, the formatting just feels different than Bloodborne or Dark Souls 2. I mean, it's Elden Ring, so that makes sense, but I don't know. I wanted a boss designs of Dark Souls 3. Oh wait, he did boss designs of Dark Souls 1 as well. Yeah, I would vastly prefer boss designs of Demon Souls or Dark Souls 3 over Elden Ring. Carpet Bomb Blue Point. Blue Point is cool. They did the other remake good, the Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus Blue Point remake is one of the best remakes ever. Just because they made some interesting artistic decisions with Demon Souls doesn't mean we should carpet bomb them. It means we should send them a wrongly worded letter with suggestions of carpet bombing. That's a joke. I feel like I have to clarify that that's a joke for legal reasons. The Elden refunds. Elden Ring is good for a first playthrough, and unfortunately 80 hours is too long to ask for a refund after. Shadow of the Colossus remake? As much as, like, the PS2 version has its own atmosphere, but the PS3 and PS4 ones are also incredible. Shadow of the Colossus is one of the best games ever made. And increasing the visual fidelity while taking away from the artistic designs that the guy who made the games made is still a very strong and very, very beautiful game. I'm not firmly against remakes by any means, especially if they're done by the original creators who create a more full, like, a more full representation of what they wanted the game to be in the first place. But even, like, reinterpretations from third-party studios are... Honestly, if the Demon Souls remake, it didn't exist as a supersession of the original and wasn't trying to be a perfect remake, and they didn't tout it as, we took the original design decisions and made them modern instead of, you know, like, we reinterpreted this classic game. If they framed it as that, and it didn't exist as something to replace the original, I think the Blue Point Demon Souls remake would be really good. But because it exists to replace the original and was touted as something that modernized the original artistic decisions rather than, which it didn't do, by the way, I feel like it makes it a lot harder to justify. Look, just because Shadow of the Colossus runs at 15 FPS during the 5th Colossus fight doesn't mean that it's unplayable. That was an artistic decision. Well, yeah, most of them are money, but I'm also not gonna say that I didn't buy the Pac-Man World 2 remake out of some sense of justice for not having remakes made for money. I don't know. The one thing that I would never like, no matter how they presented the Demon Souls remake, is the soundtrack. It's so much worse. It's so much worse. Okay, and then I need to get from the Ember. Ankles breaking every roll in DSR. That one thing that I literally didn't even know existed until as a huge Dark Souls 1 nerd, because I'm autistic and Dark Souls 1 is my special interest. Dark Souls in general is my special interest. As who I didn't notice the ankles doing that thing every roll until someone pointed it out, and I still don't notice it. Even though I know it exists and have looked for it so many times, I just don't see it. Like, my brain doesn't comprehend that it's happening. Ah, yes. The most heinous change that they made in Dark Souls Remastered, making one tiny facet of the rolling animation slightly worse, but also still unnoticeable. I think the magic in the Demon Souls remake is one of the best things about it. It looks like, it doesn't look like a fantasy thing, but I don't think that matters. I think it still looks really good. I think the fact that it doesn't look like a traditional fantasy magic makes it more interesting to me. How could I notice? It's on screen for a few frames. And It's so minorly broken. Like when magic sounds gay and twinky. I would argue that sci-fi lasers sound gayer and twinkier. I forgot to fight the Black Knights for chunks, if you're wondering why I'm running over here. I want to get a plus 15 before any bosses, because I think it's funny. No, nothing to apologize for, I understand. Bonk. And it's not like I don't like... I'm not saying that I prefer the remake's magic. I just don't think it's a negative by any means. My controller stopped functioning? Hello? 1 second. Okay. Unplugging it and plugging it back in seemed to work. Being overpowered before Anne Orlando is fun. I agree. Actually, I want to go through a Taurus Demon just so I don't have to run all the way around. I think this will be slightly faster. And then it'll do Stray Demon, and it'll get me a few levels. And then I'll obliterate their gargoyles. Don't yell at me. Ow. No! The range was smaller than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to die to the arrows. Okay. No longer going to die to the arrows, hopefully. Oh my god, the range just feels so wrong. Homophobic controller? True? Right after I talk about Dark Souls magic and sci-fi being gay and twinky, it started messing up. Definitely homophobia. Obviously, don't need to worry about the Drake. I always get so confused when the Drake actually shows up because I forget that I'll always end up forgetting that I activated it during a run, and I'm so used to it not showing up because of the routes that I take through this game. Okay. Bonk. Do I have a bone? I do have a bone. Saves me running through a tiny bit of the parish. Okay. Now we just need the slab from the Stray Demon. We'll have a plus 15. 15 minutes into the stream. I don't know if doing this is faster because I'm like getting all the busy work out of the way at first, you know? But even if it's not faster, I think this routing is fun. I have a lot of bones? Well, yeah, but like a homeward bone specifically. I have a lot fewer of those, unfortunately. I had one. There's a joke here. There's an innuendo somewhere in what I just said. I don't know what it is, though. And, I'm not sure that I want to be the one to find it. Favorite Dark Souls drip? For Dark Souls 1, it is the brass leggings and gauntlets with the gold-hemmed robe and hood. And then for Dark Souls 2, it is the Xanthus set without the crown. Unfortunately, I'm too much of a coward to wear the crown. And then Dark Souls 3, it is the Alva pants and gauntlets with the Fire Witch chest piece. Sack Enjoyer, that one's pretty good too. I'm also a sack enjoyer. Feel free to clip that. It works in any context. That's not true. It works in most contexts. I I kind of hate myself for this, but whenever I see the blank on my blank till I blink, I, I think of the she Google on my dock till I'm micro and soft, and oh, it makes me happy. I think that one's very funny. No test armor. No test armor is pretty based. True, Lamb, I agree. Enjoying sack is the objectively correct choice. This is quite a bit of damage. Stray Demon is weak to the damage type and the bleed, so, you know, slashing damage. That's what it's called. I can't remember what the damage type was called. Extremely difficult Stray Demon fight, as always. Caked up, yeah. Relatable. Anyway, I tried to get me to like 30 something dexterity. And a plus 15 should be more than enough for the gargoyles. Barrack starting armor plus lower undead bird thief hood is where it's at. I don't think I've seen that combo. Okay. Hopefully the 40k from Quelaag and Ceaseless should be enough to get me to 40 dexterity. They slash them. You shouldn't be sorry. That's incredible. I think that's one of my favorite chat messages I've ever gotten in a live stream. I'm also so brain rotted that makes me think of Deltarune, the they slash them theory. The moveset isn't awful. Moveset's pretty good, actually. It's very much just the glaive moveset, but I like the glaive moveset. It's my favorite moveset in this game. Just oh my goodness, excuse me. You just gotta learn to use it properly. A dingy top with black leather gloves and boots. Peak femme fashion. The dingy set is pretty good. I am fully aware it's dingy, but dingy is funnier. Yes, I absolutely stole that from Lobos. I feel like half my humor related to this game is actually stolen from Lobos. The Sealer set. Oh, the Crimson one? From, or the Ingward ways? Yeah, the Bardiche, the Gargoyle's Halberd, the Giant's Halberd, the Black Knight Halberd. I believe the Life on Scythe has the same moveset. Say which one it is, Lamb. Do it. Gargoyle puree. Yeah. That's a... I agree. Giant Father as meta. Giant Dad isn't even that good. Like, I think the only reason Giant Dad was good in PvP is because people didn't know how to counter it. But as soon as parries happen in any level of PvP that isn't some random person in the Underberg, Giant Dad kind of falls apart with how slow this Y is. Doesn't it? I would assume, anyway. As someone who doesn't play PvP, that is my base assumption. And also in PvE, Giant Dad is awful. for anything other than like the Four Kings and Nito. I don't know. Have you used the any halberd moveset in Dark Souls 2? It's easily the hardest weapon to use in the game. Any halberd. The pants of a coward. To be fair, as someone with Dark Souls as a special interest, I didn't know that I hadn't read the item description for those pants. So I don't know. I think if you hadn't brought that up, I wouldn't have gone that direction. I should rest here, yeah. Maybe I should actually get power within first? I don't know. Because normally what I'll do is I'll fight Quailag and Ceaseless, and then get power within, and then use a bone to get back up here. But I think it's not a bad idea to get power within first, and then go fight Quailag and Ceaseless. Frost Stomp before nerf. I don't understand the rationale behind nerfing things in PvE games. Like, I know a lot of the nerfs were for PvP, but then they added the separate scaling for PvP and still nerf things in PvE afterward. I didn't understand that. I know of trans people who aren't neurodivergent. I do not know them personally. I very much hang out in spaces where neurodivergent trans people are the norm. Wait, what am I doing? This isn't the way I want to go. I could go fight the Four Kings now. It could be funny. I heavily disagree with that assessment generic name, only because every weapon in Dark Souls 2 is busted. I struggle to think of a weapon in Dark Souls 2 that would make the game actually difficult. Like, maybe the early game with the ladle, but as soon as you get the levels to make use of a half-decent mundane infusion, like, I don't know. Okay, but people are having fun trivializing the game with Night and Flame, and then you nerf it. And then those people are no longer having fun. And the people who weren't having fun trivializing the game with Night and Flame aren't even using Night and Flame anymore. Because they wanted a challenge. So, nerfing a specific weapon in a PvE game when there are already weapons that will give people who want a challenge the experience they want. You know? I don't know. I don't see the rationale there. Like, I get having an intended experience, but when you're removing people's preferred experience in order to force everyone to have that experience, it just kind of feels bad. I mean, I always get my weapon to plus 15, or well, maxed out, depending on the weapon, obviously, before I get the Lord Vessel. So, kind of. I also usually try to fight all the bosses before getting the Lord Vessel. Excuse me. Okay. Oh my goodness, I got stuck. I looked at the chat as I attempted to go down the stairs and I got stuck. Hello, chopped liver, welcome. What do you mean Blighttown moment? That was 1000% because I tried to run fast. I mean, it is objectively true that there are more neurodivergent trans people than non-neurodivergent trans people. Because neurodivergence, being trans, no, figuring out that you're trans generally tends to require other more obvious things. Like, I was kind of the opposite. I figured out that I was trans, and then I figured out that I was neurodivergent. Figuring out, but a lot of my behavior that led to me figuring out that I was trans, like hyper-analyzing my feelings, came from me being neurodivergent, even though I didn't know I was neurodivergent in the first place. So figuring out that you're trans is definitely made a lot easier by being neurodivergent, especially with how being trans is treated in like societal contexts. So it's not, it's both that neurodivergent people are more likely to be trans, and also that neurodivergent people are more likely to figure out that they are trans in the first place. You can also just not upgrade the weapon if you want a challenge with that specific moveset, or upgrade it to the point where you get the challenge to be what you want it to be, or just manage your levels a little bit better, or just use a different weapon with a similar moveset. I don't know. There's so many ways to still have a challenge with that moveset that aren't removing an entire facet of the experience that some people vastly prefer, right? Munching on Tylenol, true. Oh my god. Ow. Okay. It wouldn't be so annoying if Dark Souls 2 wasn't so bad. In what world? Okay, see, the thing is, you're around frequently enough that I know you are fully aware of the general consensus of Dark Souls 2 in this area. In what world is Dark Souls 2 bad? Zero Lenny dislikes Dark Souls 2 because he ignores half the game and then makes fun of stuff that people like. Neurotypical people do not analyze their feelings nearly as frequently as neurodivergent people. That's just objectively true. Like, there are so many neurotypical people who don't think about their feelings at all, at least why they're having them and analyzing them and understanding the circumstances around them. Blue Smelter Run and Horse F Valley. Blue Smelter Run takes about 2 seconds if you know what you're doing. And the Frigid Outskirts is also the most overhated area in any Souls game. You just go in the houses when the storm is there, and then you get through it in like 2 minutes without issue. I don't know. I feel like there's nothing to actually dislike about the Frigid Outskirts unless you don't know what you're doing. Look, the bloodstain made me uncomfortable. I had to attack it. What about people like me who adore Dark Souls 2 and think it's the best in the series, but still prefer Dark Souls 1 because of autism? I think there are 3 kinds of people in this world, at least. It's pretty high, though. It's a high number. I don't know if I can count more than that. Pardon me? Good luck with work, Lamb. I hope it goes not terribly. Okay. Now, is it worth it to try and climb back down? I guess I'll find out. Oh. Grindy? You know, you're allowed to just not level up your weapon to max, right? If you're finding a certain aspect of Demon Souls unfun, you don't have to engage with that aspect. There are other aspects you can engage with to get a similar level of difficulty without engaging with that specific aspect. I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of people who don't try to like things, and that baffles me because I try to like everything I engage with. Unless it's, you know, objectively bad, like bigoted or whatever. I have purple moss. This is not an issue. The blood art guys also give you blooming purple moss clumps. It's the highest drop chance in the game, so like, out of grass, just buy it. Kill a boss and buy some grass. It's not even necessarily a personal preference. A lot of Dark Souls 2 hate is fundamentally misunderstanding how the game is played. Like, for instance, a lot of people hate ADP because they don't read the descriptions of things, right? It explicitly states it makes it easier to roll, so if you're struggling with dodging with rolling, you level up ADP. But people hate it because it's an obtuse mechanic, or because they just want Dark Souls 1 iframes, even though you can get literally the exact same experience by putting a couple levels into ADP. Yeah, like worst case scenario, you dupe some grass. But there are definitely non-grindy ways to get souls to buy grass. Or, you know, you can just engage with the challenge part of the game instead of farming grass to make it easier, you know? Well, yeah, Dark Souls 2 gives you the most levels by far. She's shaking her ass. Because of its reliance on stats to give you a set difficulty, right? You know, I really need to make a follow-up to the Unremarkable and Odd Places video, because this spot gives me those vibes. I don't know why. I'm gonna be honest. I think Quelaag is overrated. There are much hotter Driders in fiction. And don't fight Flamelurker? There are 4 other paths you can go down. 3 at worst. I don't want that bonfire, actually. Overrated as a woman. Like, she's kind of hot, but she's not that hot. She's just, I don't know, a skinny girl attached to a spider. Like, I get it. But come on. There's so much better you can do. It's so much better. If you have to level up ADP, you are either bad at the game, you are misunderstanding fundamental aspects of the game, or you are refusing to interact with other aspects of the game. You can learn positioning. You can easily hitless every boss in the game if you just learn how to position. You can get a shield and level up your endurance instead. It's not that hard. You don't need to level up ADP if you don't want to level up ADP. Where are you not powerful enough to go? I'm genuinely confused, and Demon Souls, like, the game is specifically structured for you to not have to do things that you feel like you're too weak to do. Flamelurker is not an early boss. Flamelurker is, in my experience, one of the hardest bosses in the game. So you just do it later, right? Tower of Latria is much easier than 2-2. Yeah, Tower of Latria, specifically 3-1. 5-1 is also much easier than 2-2. 4-1 I would argue is harder, but that's just because the skeletons are fast and annoying. I would argue 5-2 and 3-2 are both easier than 2-2. Gonna don the full Grim Reaper look? I guess I could, huh? I don't usually do, like, themed runs like that, but I don't know. It's easy and good armor. And it doesn't make me mid-roll. Okay. Yeah, Flame Lurker is allergic to magic. You could get sticky white stuff and obliterate Flame Lurker in 2 hits. Or get any magic spell and kill Flame Lurker in 2 hits. Okay, hate that it's called sticky white stuff? Why? That's the best part of the whole game. I love sticky white. Again, feel free to clip that. It works in most contexts. Endurance. Wait, what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, Grass Crush Shield. I've had it this whole time and just haven't been using it. Okay. Thank you, Krista, for the confirmation. I appreciate that. Pull in 3. I should do more Demon Soul streams. Next week, I was planning on, I want to do a series of streams within a week or two, or within 2/2.5 weeks. Not within the next 2 to 2.5 weeks, but like within a 2 to 2. Oh my god, within a 2 to 2.5 week span, where I use every starting weapon in a full playthrough, in like back to back streams. And I was thinking of doing that soon, but that's gonna be a lot of streams. And I don't know if that's a good idea to do soon. Oh, I need to grab the Pyromancy Flame. What am I doing? Take forever. Nope. You get that there are ways to play Dark Souls 2 without ADP, but it feels like shit. So then level up ADP. You get enough levels that it doesn't matter. Okay, see, the thing about Dark Souls 2 is it's not Dark Souls 1, and if you're expecting a Dark Souls 1 experience, you're not going to have a good time, because it's not Dark Souls 1. If you want it to be more like Dark Souls 1, just go play Dark Souls 1. If ADP really bothers you that much that you can't stand putting a few levels into it, despite having, like, 80 more levels than you would at the end of Dark Souls 1 in Dark Souls 2, just don't play Dark Souls 2. I don't know. If it really sucks that much for you to put a few levels in ADP, I genuinely don't know what to tell you. Go kill the Rotten a couple times. Worst case scenario. Like, I don't know. The game has ways around the things that you don't like. Oh, whoops, I pressed the wrong button. Human pine resin, possibly the worst named thing ever. There are worse names. I need to finish my Dark Souls. So I'm speaking of unremarkable and odd places. I want to finish my Dark Souls 3 playthrough that I'm doing for that, because I have like half the number of spots in Dark Souls 3 right now that I did for the first Dark Souls 1 unremarkable and odd places. If you have any Dark Souls 3 unremarkable and odd places that you would like to see in a video, you should definitely tell me what they are. Either stream chat, you can join the Discord, I made a community post about them a while ago if you want to show me there, or if you want to tell me there. You don't have Discord or whatever. I don't know, human pine resin doesn't feel like an intentional innuendo to me. Sticky white stuff doesn't either, but it feels more intentional. I would disagree. I think Dark Souls 3 has a lot of very remarkable things about it. Most of the enemy placement is very explicitly to facilitate a specific style of play. And I think that's very remarkable that they did it in such a clean way. Liquid humanity. Yeah, that's what I mean, Grant Pipe. It doesn't feel like an innuendo or like a gross thing. It's pine resin that has the essence of humanity. Or is pine resin from a human? In which case, I don't know, there are humans that look like trees. That's probably where it comes from, actually. I never thought about that. I love emergent environmental storytelling. Oops. Sounds gross. I mean, I disagree. You missed the Scythe. I'm not even halfway through the game. I think you missed it. You got sick. No. Saying sorry for that. I don't think that's a word you need to use here. Also, isn't this thing resistant to slashing damage? That's kind of insane. I'm not even using power within. I feel like Ornstein and Smo aren't going to be particularly difficult in this run. Just the vibes I get, you know? Thank you for being here while you could, Matthias. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think I am remembering correctly, or at least closer than what I normally said. Just corpse wax? What is corpse wax? Because I've heard of other people being grossed out by corpse wax, but I don't actually know what it is. I kind of always assumed it was just like a thing used in the embalming process. But is it something grosser? I want to get 20 endurance and then I'll go 20 vitality. So I thought it was wax used on a corpse, not wax from a corpse. But if it is wax from a corpse, I don't know. It's still not creepy to me. I guess the idea of death and that the clinicalization of the process of death is also not very creepy of a concept to me. Hopefully I don't fall off the rafters, but we'll see what happens. Wax that forms from the fatty tissue of a corpse. Okay. That is significantly grosser than a thing used in the embalming process, but I don't know. It still doesn't gross me out that much. Oh, okay. Well, I did fall off the rafters. I don't know. Death, the philosophical idea of death, I've come to terms with. And the actual process of, like, the physical process of death has been too clinicalized for me to find it creepy at this point. So, I don't know. Like, it's kind of gross, but there are precautions you can take. The painting guardian falling to his death. I always love when that happens. Eat any nearby corpses? True. Then they won't have the chance to form the wax. Who constructed the catwalk? Presumably the lords. I don't know. I assume those like that area is there specifically to house the painting guardians, to guard the painting from all possible angles. Like it's a strategic building more than anything. I don't know, actually, probably the slaves of the lords. Don't want to give credit to the slavers. What other reason would you have? I guess they are kind of yummy. I don't know. Okay. I need to remember to attune Power Within, because I definitely almost forgot entirely. Tune. There we go. And I think having Power Within for Unseen and Smoke will be funny. Does the Life on Scythe have higher AR than the Great Scythe? Like, obviously, you can get higher DPS off that Great Scythe because of buffs and everything. But just in raw AR, is it better? Most unique run I've had in Dark Souls 1. That's a good question. The Ghost Blade is up there only because it's such a terrible weapon and there's nothing you can do to make it better. My nothing run, my very first Dark Souls 1 challenge run that I ever did, was also up there because, well, I don't know, it was just kind of Dragon Form and Pyromancy, so level 1. But I also didn't heal or anything, or use rings to make certain things easier. So, I don't know, I forgot to use Power Within. That's crazy. Hardly any more AR? Okay. Not really worth for the bleed build up. I mean, the bleed build up is kind of negligible once you get anything that negates bleed whatsoever. I also did a run kind of recently, or I did the run recently. That's a lot of damage, wow. I'm working on the video right now, I just need to edit it. Where I used every curve sword in a single playthrough. And I think that one's actually fairly unique for what it is. And it was fun to do, for sure. Old Bone Wheels was funny. I don't know that I would say that's particularly unique, though. Oh. No, damn it. Dewey, no, I did not, because that is my least favorite kind of run. It's so boring to just do no damage. Like, you dodge bosses for a while, I guess that's kind of cool. But it doesn't necessarily encourage a different playstyle or anything. Actually, that said, I did do a literally nothing run as my second challenge run. I think it was my second challenge run. I don't remember, actually. I did it fairly early on, where I used no weapons and no armor and no healing and everything. But instead of punching things, I got a soft humanity from making enemies fall off a cliff, and then used that to summon Solaire for Ornstein and Smo. And then Solaire was bad, and I didn't want to rely on RNG, so instead I summoned a friend. Ow. Bonk. Okay. Yeah, like... What the? That hitbox was not where I expected it to be. That kills me. It does not... Everything's okay. I'm too good at the game to die. I would never die in Dark Souls. Are you kidding me? After over 1,000 hours? Anyway, when I do runs that seem absurd, like the nothing and literally nothing runs, I try to make them interesting in ways that aren't just, I have to fight this boss for 6 hours. And I really, really don't like... I have to fight this boss for 6 hours runs because I find them extremely boring. The original Frankenstein on the TV. Karen is reciting it word for word. That's an interesting experience. Okay. What's our AR even? 483? That's not bad. Favorite horror movie? That's a really good question, actually. I don't watch very many horror movies. I liked Annihilation. I don't know. A Quiet Place was fun until the ending. And its favorite trans representation. I mean, I did Gwendolyn recently, which was not as fun as it sounds. There are ways to make seemingly absurd challenge runs not that bad. Like Broken Straight Sword is a good example because everyone knows how to make it not torturous, but with the Broken Straight Sword you can get fairly decent damage on it. I'm working on Broken Straight Sword, or not Broken Straight Sword, Straight Sword Hilt, Soul Level 1. Which is significantly harder and you get significantly less damage. But there are a lot more ways to get more damage than you would expect for a Straight Sword Hilt only run at level 1. Which I think is what makes that interesting. So even if a lot of the bosses take a long time, like Ornstein and Smo was like a 15-minute fight, I think. Even though some of the bosses are, like absurd. It's still really interesting because you're learning a lot of unique ways to get damage in ways that you wouldn't expect to be able to. Give up on the Egg Viper. Many platforms were making him mad. You can just jump on, like as soon as he throws the platform, you can jump and you'll land on top of it. Like hold jump for as long as you can to get like the highest, longest jump possible, and don't move, and the platform will move directly under you. Yeah, like when a challenge run is hard, I don't think that's bad. When a challenge run makes bosses take a long time, I don't think that's bad. But when the gimmick of the challenge run is, this boss is taking a long time, I find that really uninteresting, personally. So, you know, I like having another gimmick to it. If you land in the middle of the platform, he shouldn't go flying off. I know, it might be a PC part thing though, to be honest. Oh, already? Okay. 635, whoa. That's a lot more damage than I was expecting for an R2. Yeah, as long as you stay completely still after you jump, you'll land on the middle of the platform pretty much every time. That was a very fast Hydra fight. I love slashing damage. Actually, generally tend to prefer strike damage, but slashing damage is pretty cool too. I'm worried about Scythe. She probably won't last long. I'm worried for her health, not mine. Good luck with work, Lamb. Thank you for being here while you could. I hope today isn't too terrible. I like standard damage, primarily because nothing has strong resistances to standard damage. That's pretty useful. Like, there are a few things that resist strike damage specifically. As much as there is a lot of stuff that is resistant to it, more stuff, or that is weak to it, a couple things are still resistant to it, as opposed to standard damage where nothing is resistant to it. So like, the Demon's Great Axe will perform slightly better against a lot of things compared to the Great Club, despite the Great Club being, or well, the Great Club will perform better than the Demon's Great Axe against some things, despite the Demon's Great Axe being higher AR. But the Demon's Great Axe is still really good for those other couple little things, right? So, I don't know, standard damage is nice to have. What a thrill with darkness by through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching for mountains to you. What a thrill. I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. Not in order, anyway. I wish I was good at singing. I used to be good at singing. That's not true. I used to think I was good at singing. In my time, there'll be no one else. Slash to be the worst, considering most of the harder enemies wear armor. No, only because the things that use slashing damage are good. Okay, that's fine. Better singer than you? Absolutely not. In what world? But yeah, I don't know. Slashing damage does have a lot of resistances for enemies that would be otherwise fairly difficult. But like, clearly, as we've seen with like the Iron Golem, it didn't matter. What a thrill in my heart. You're so supreme. There's no voice training? Okay, so you don't like your singing voice. Not that you're bad at singing. Very important distinction, I think. I don't know. I as much as it's fun to critique art, I think the fact that a lot of people treat art critique as if it can somehow be objective makes it really hard to participate in critique without feeling like an asshole. Because when I approach art as a critic, my goal with critiquing is to compare less how good it is by some objective standard, because that's absurd with art, and more how I would change it in ways that would make me personally prefer it more. And I try to communicate that as much as I can, and any time that I publicly critique any piece of art. He got to limp, no. My point being, with this evidently extremely oh my god, I don't remember the word. Pretentious, extremely pretentious line of thinking is that no one sings bad. Find it with a magic weapon and 3-shot the Iron Golem. Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, I haven't voice trained at all, and a lot of people like my voice, so I don't know. I could level up before I go fight the 4 kings. Yeah, anyone that tries to advocate for some universal standard of art is either a fascist, parroting fascistic ideals without realizing they're fascistic. Muller falls into probably both of those categories, actually, funnily enough. Or is incredibly ignorant and it doesn't understand that their preferences aren't universal. So. Yeah, well, I think, see, I don't dislike my voice anymore because other people like it. And it took a lot of people on the internet telling me my voice was good. So, as much as I started making YouTube videos despite disliking my voice, um, it has turned into a great sense of, or it has become a way to overcome a lot of my insecurities, weirdly. Despite some people still calling me dude because they only hear my voice. Stan Pellet's voice. Thank you. I appreciate that. All three are Mahler? Yeah, okay, that's fair. Oh, true. Actually, yeah. More gay. If it's not gay, it's bad. Objectively. That's true. My apologies for being wrong. I don't know if this is going to be fast roll. It is. I don't need Havelsring anymore. Whoa. Oh, good. Has like the broadsword R2. And it's just as easy to miss. I'm doing less damage because of the stagger thing. No! I wanted to measure that out a little bit better so I could... That's fine. So, 2 R2s, R1. Should get me low enough to get the maximum damage off perking. I wonder if the R1s are better for DPS because of my stamina bar, though. Okay. Point blank tracking magic, my favorite thing. Oh. Okay, that's fine. R1? R1? Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah. Objective is a very, 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 very limited term. There are so few times when you can say something is objective. That said, people using objective and intersubjective interchangeably is probably one of the best uses of objective. Whiff City. No 5 kings, yeah. Not even remotely close. I should wait for the soul counter to actually stop counting up, because sometimes it's kind of glitchy with how many souls it gives you because of that. Alright. I'm gonna let this cutscene play out because I need to go to the bathroom. I will be right back.
This is Gwyn's prison. Now, place the Lord Vessel upon the altar.
I am back. Neat, 4. You know, I feel like I should have expected nothing less. I don't know, I haven't heard a trans woman with a bad voice ever, so like, you know, or any queer person, actually. I have had instances of people's voices being annoying, but none of them have been queer whatsoever. So, I have heard you, and my point still stands. What are you getting at? Are you just trying to get me to compliment your voice more? Live on stream? I'll do it. No. Well, I'm one of those. Krista, you do not have a bad voice. It is objectively true that you have a good voice. Which, yes, I am using in in the context of being synonymous with intersubjective because I think it's funny and brings the conversation back around. I mean, even if someone does hate how you sound, like, so? You don't have to sound queer to have a good queer voice, or to be a queer person with a good voice. Praise can't comment? What? In the solar pellets stream? Never. Ever. That would never happen. So what does it mean to be not trans enough? What does that mean? What is the... What does it mean to be trans enough? I've always found it baffling when trans people will, specifically trans femmes, because I'm primarily around trans femmes, will like self-deprecate and then not expect other trans people to assume that that's how they think about trans people in general and not only themselves. Like, I don't know, I'm not that trans. I just started my transition, so I don't know that I really count as trans, is one that I have heard before. And also doesn't make sense. And also can very much lead to an assumption about how you view other trans people because of how you feel about yourself in that context. Not that that's what you're doing, Arachnid. Just that I have heard that before, and that made me think of that. Or like the, I don't look girly enough to be, I don't know. It's like, who cares? Who cares how you look? You're a woman. If you want to be a woman, you're a woman. That's, I mean, that's kind of it, right? Just a PSA. And when you put yourself down for not looking feminine enough or having a bad voice for a woman, quote unquote, or whatever, stuff like that, it is very much putting down other trans people as well, even if that's not your intention. Krista, you have more feminine traits than the majority of trans people, than the majority of trans women I have ever met. You saying that you don't look girly is very much putting out an idea of how you feel about trans women. On top of the fact that there is an assumption that trans women even need to look girly in the first, that women need to look girly, quote unquote, in the first place. You know? Fuck. Okay, Demon Fire Sage should be faster than Stray Demon, right? Stray Demon has more health? Question mark? I assume Stray Demon has more health than the Fire Sage. Arachnid, if you want to be a woman, you are a woman. Gender is, in fact, that simple. Even if social expectations around it are weird and stupid and dumb. Gender and identity and presentation are as simple as what you want to be. And sometimes what you want to be isn't simple, and that's okay too. You can be whatever the fuck you want. And there are no restrictions or limitations or requirements to be who you want to be. I need more stamina so I can R2 3 times in a row. I don't know, I feel like once you get rid of the internal bigotry and, I don't know, harmful ideas about identity that you've like internalized just being in modern society, it helps a lot with your own self-image. Like, it took me a while to get over the trans women shouldn't have beards phase. And it wasn't even because I didn't think, like, consciously. I was like, yeah, I mean, you can present however you want, that's cool. But I still had that internal, like, whenever I saw a trans woman with a beard who was, like, presenting more mask visually. But, like, at some point, it was just like, wait, well, I don't care. That they say they're a woman, that's good enough for me. I don't know why I would have any feelings about that whatsoever when it's their identity that they're talking about, right? So once I got over that, a lot of my dysphoria disappeared, just like completely gone. I have no voice dysphoria because of that, right? And sometimes it'll come back as an internal feeling, and then I'll like think about it for half a second. It's like, oh wait, no, I don't care, you know? Only a fool worries themselves into this with the sound of the weapon instead of the caliber of the gun. That's an awesome quote. I agree. 1.0 Dark Souls 1, as annoying as that sounds. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it would be that bad. The lower soul drop count would be annoying, but you can offset that in a lot of ways, right? Like, worst case scenario, you can get that silver serpent ring. What the? I didn't take damage from that. Really hate hair on yourself, but I'll go crazy for it on other people? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like a lot of my feelings on how other people look is heavily influenced by how I feel about that person. Like, I had no opinions on body hair whatsoever until I saw someone who I already love how body hair, and I was like, oh my god. You know? See, Arachnid, there is nothing, you can't trivialize someone else's identity by having an identity yourself. That's not how that works. You're not trivializing anything, you're not diminishing anything. Even if, like, it's not, I don't know how much of a character you're putting on, but regardless of how much you feel like you want to be a woman, even if it's only sometimes, you can also be a woman only sometimes. That is a thing that a lot of people do, and a lot of people are really comfortable with, and how a lot of people like to present their gender and be identified. You can just be whatever the fuck you want, regardless of what other people think about it. I don't know, I have 8 in my pronouns, because I like feeling like a fox, and in my brain, it is more so closely associated with being a fox. So I have it in my pronouns and the pet play pride flag on my Discord bio. Like, I don't, I don't know. You can be whatever you want. The soft caps are higher in Dark Souls 1? Or in Dark Souls 1.0? I didn't know that. Hello, sometimes it user. I like them all the time, but I like them more sometimes. Um, like, how do I put this? Sometimes I feel okay. I consider myself Therian, not furry, and associating myself with any animal other than Arctic fox makes me extremely uncomfortable. Genuinely, the exact same feeling as dysphoria, as gender dysphoria. um, so, but sometimes I feel more fox and sometimes I feel more human, and I don't know how to explain that in any other way. Um, and I've come to accept it and just be like okay with it changing sometimes, but I don't know. I think it's fun to explore those parts of my identity, right? Murky hand scythe enjoyer, understandable. A more enlightened gender. Oh my goodness. Vin, you gotta be careful saying stuff like that around here. You know where the chat will go. You gotta be careful. The official Solar approved opinion on this boss? You're allowed to not like it. I understand why people don't like this boss and find it more frustrating than fun. But personally, I think it has its merits. Oh my god. As a boss. And is fun for me to experience every time I play that game. So I don't have a strong dislike of this boss, and I think it's fun. And I think it's a good boss because I personally enjoy it. But I would still put it in like C tier. Yeah, the Pisaka isn't here. Which is why I haven't gone to the archives yet, by the way. I wanted to give the Pisaka a little bit more time. A fox girl meme? Okay. I will see it after the stream. You know, sometimes I forget how woke I am. And I say that because I forget that there are people who exist who think that Therians are weird, and who also think that plural people who don't have DID don't exist. Of which I also am. On top of just being a trans femme who's cool with non-conforming trans people in general. And I forget that that's not like just the common normal person stance sometimes. Therians are weird and it's hot. Yeah, that's fair. Therians are weird slash pause. Pause? Not those pause, but also those pause. You can roll through the fingers specifically. You can't roll through the palm, the wrist, or the arm. But if you roll through the fingers, it's really consistent. One day you might have a set stereotype. I mean, you can have more than one. You can have a fictional creature as your stereotype. You can be whatever the fuck you want. In fact, it is morally correct to be whatever the fuck you want, because then other people will see and be like, oh my god, I can do that, and then be more comfortable with their gender and presentation because they figured that out and their identity. So even though there is like ridicule around my identity a lot of the time, I don't care. And I still present as publicly as I can, and I'm very public with my identity and everything, because the more people that know that people like me exist, the more people will figure out that they are more comfortable with an identity like mine. So, you know, I get dysphoria when I realize that I don't have a tail. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, it is bad because I want a tail, but it's not bad that that happens. Bloodborne creature HRT, that's totally understandable. Gotta get the blood of the old ones. Probably be considered Etherean. You should embrace that, I think. You should really take that in stride. This is why I have a Discord server. I post notifications for every stream and video in the Discord server specifically for that reason, because I know a lot of people don't get YouTube notifications. Would Dog Girl be Therian? Absolutely. Most Therians I know are Dog Girls. Okay, time for a very difficult boss. Never? I don't know, you should consider it. Might. Haven't we had this discussion before, Krista? I feel like this is a conversation topic that has come up more than once. Weakness, tail. What does that mean? What? Collar. I need one of those. I need a collar with a tag that has my name on it. That'd be cute. Yes, we have? Okay. I'm glad I'm not completely misremembering. Why is it scary? Could it be a cute animal? Go to the pet store? Yeah, but then I have to find one that fits. I mean, you're totally allowed to lurk in the Discord server. Most people are in there exclusively for the stream chat or the stream notification. You're definitely not required ever to talk in the Discord whatsoever. Admittedly, I do encourage interacting because there are a lot of really cool people in the server. I like meeting people from all walks of life who happen to watch a trans girl play Dark Souls on the internet. And there are a lot of really cool people in the server who would also probably like to meet other cool people, but there's absolutely no requirement. I don't like the aesthetics of leather collars. I like the nylon ones. They're probably less comfortable, but I don't know. I also hate the, oh my goodness, I just threw a cord on accident. I don't like the texture of the leather either, but I prefer nylon ones primarily for the aesthetic. I don't know, I'm sure most petcos get a group of trans girls wandering in every so often. Streams are a godsend. I'm glad. I have hit a niche. I should... Okay, so, algorithm stuff real quick, because I think it would be really cool to hit 10,000 subscribers soon, because it's like 90 subscribers away or something, which is absurd. I never thought I'd get anywhere close to even 1,000 subscribers, let alone 10,000. But if you would like to speed up the process at which I get to do the 10K stream where I get drunk on the internet, any like algorithm interaction, you know, sharing the video, even just clicking the share link or anything like that, liking the stream or any of my videos or whatever, subscribing if you're not, whatever will really help with the algorithm. And also hopefully let more people who would benefit from seeing my streams, like people who are questioning their identity or whatever, see my streams, which is kind of the main reason I'm so open about this kind of thing, because I know more people would benefit from seeing someone like me, whether as from having like a comfort person on the internet or just knowing people like me exist. You know, stream is being wonky on YouTube and oh, homophobic YouTube. Yeah, point is, I'm with this channel is really close to 10,000 subscribers, which is absurd, and I never thought I'd get anywhere close to. But it'd be awesome to hit 10K. It's a good habit you tried to make. I really appreciate that. It does genuinely mean a lot. As much as it might feel like a small thing, it does mean a lot to me. I don't know, I feel weird asking people to subscribe, but, you know. It is a trap, yes. This is like a mouse trap for women who don't know they're women yet, who aren't sure if they're women yet, or for queer people in general who want a safe space who also happen to like Dark Souls. Like and smash that subscribe button. Like the subscribe button. Scythe. Oh. It's a... Jesus Christ. It took me a second to realize what you were going for in me. I appreciate that. I was hosting a public Atlas server yesterday. Krista! Krista, thank you so much. It's yellow. I didn't know it was yellow if you did that amount. That's my favorite color. Thank you so much, Krista. As much as I think you give me too much money, especially considering you don't have a job right now, I appreciate it every single time. Anyway, Atlas, if you aren't aware, this color, my favorite color. Atlas is a game made by an SFW artist. I won't elaborate anymore because YouTube, but the characters have a very particular body type that happens to be my body type in real life, which made me immediately attached to the characters. And also I love the gameplay and it's super fun. And it's like a pseudo MMO style game. You can play it solo, but I hosted a public Atlas server for the first time yesterday. And I called it Gaming, G-A-Y-M-I-N-G, because obviously. And a lot of queer people joined, and most of them happen to be trans women. And someone who was most likely an egg showed up and said something about like not being able to be a girl or whatever because they were a man, and started talking about being trans and talking about gentle forced transfemming, which is literally just getting them to take estrogen. Highly recommend Atlas if you think the style of gameplay looks even remotely close to fun, or even just like the design of the characters, because it really sucked me in. Pretty sure everyone who plays Atlas is queer. Unfortunately, there are some straight people who play Atlas, and they are some of my least favorite kind of people in the world. Yeah, true. If your piss is that color, you should probably drink a little bit more water. I want to continue my Everything in Atlas series, but there's a huge update, and I'm still trying to figure out what all that stuff is myself, so I'll probably make one at some point soon. I want to do more challenge runs in Atlas, but I'm not sure what they would be anymore. I wouldn't call it an MMORPG. It has the vibe of an MMORPG, and it does let you play with up to 16 people on a server, but it's a lot more, like, you can play it solo offline, right? So I think under that distinction alone, it's not an MMORPG as much as it does have that gameplay. It's the, whoa, look at the hot fox that looks like my girlfriend game, yeah. I saw a Tanuki in Atlas yesterday. That was fun. It was like a really convincing Tanuki. Do I run Dark Souls 1 every day? No. I do play it at least once a week. I do beat it, rather, at least once a week. Sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times. I don't want to kill this one. This is the one I want to get grabbed by. For very normal reasons. Okay. That said, I don't want it to throw me off the banister this time. Come on. Sally is cute. I don't know. I think my favorite NPC... Really? Come on. You got this. I believe in you. What is my favorite Atlas NPC? I mean, Angela's up there, obviously. There we go. The reviews are crazy good because it's a crazy good game. I don't know. I don't know what character is my favorite in that list. Vivian is a very transcoded character for sure, and I like Vivian a lot, the Enchantress. Forta's funny, but not hot, in my opinion. Hourglasses are lame. That's true. Hairs, though? What did Scythe do to sacrifice these ladies? That's a good question. I don't actually know the lore about exactly what he was trying to do. I think he was trying to make them immortal by making them dragon-like or something. My very limited scope of Dark Souls lore. All women are hot, I agree. No, I don't. Most women are hot. But pear-shaped. Wow. I forget how loud they cry sometimes. That makes me feel bad. The alarm sound doesn't really bother me. I know it bothers a lot of people, though. I also love women. It's hard to not love women. Women are based and awesome. Unless they're, like, pygmies, in which case they're not, and they are some of the worst people in the world. You know. Women in general are pretty cool. What if I did a whole stream without opening DSR gadget? That'd be crazy. It's been a long time. Yeah, women are pretty great, typically. Qualifier. Most women are awesome. God, pick me trans women are the worst. I think, weirdly, the cooler of a woman you are, like, you know, cis white woman, and then I'm not going to rank them specifically because I don't have a rank specifically because all women are awesome. But, like, you know, trans women are cool, but pick me cis white women are significantly less uncool than pick me trans women in general. Because pick me trans women have to be so much more educated to even be trans in the first place, so them being pick me is so much worse. You know what I mean? Not pygmy. Pick me. Pick space me. Like, transphobic trans people are worse than transphobic cis people. Only because they have to be, like, deliberate in their transphobia. And the same thing applies to most other bigotries. Try the furry game with the booby art? Hell yeah. I think it'd be fun to do like a Solar Pellets Discord Atlas session at some point. Servers do only go up to 16 people, but, you know. I actually got my main character up to level 32 last night. Took a while, but it was fun. 32 is the max level right now. I don't know if they have plans for like a specific max level once the game is done, but YouTube hates you? YouTube still being homophobic. Also hard to explain that you're just there for gameplay? Why would you only be there for gameplay? Like, okay, unironically, Atlas has been one of the strongest tools for my headmates to express their identity externally of me. Like, if you're not plural, this probably doesn't make sense, but we all have our own views of ourselves in Headspace. But I'm kind of because I'm the host and because I front the most, I usually, like most people, tend to default to how I view myself because that's what we look like most on the outside. But with Atlas, it's so much easier to just like create a representation of yourself if you happen to be Therian, which is one of the main reasons we play Atlas so frequently. Avalon New Game Plus. Why New Game Plus specifically? I mean, I feel like a new game run with the Avalon would be significantly easier and more fun. Do you have like an ad blocker or something, NB? Well, I mean, you can get the, if you use glitches, you can get the Avalon actually before fighting any bosses. As long as you have, actually, I'm not sure what all the Golden Fog Gate skips are to sends. I know there are at least 2, but there are quite a few ways to get the Avalon before fighting a single boss. Outside of the Asylum Demon and Iron Golem, actually. I forgot about the Iron Golem. I mean, you can technically skip Iron Golem. There is a doggy, it's the Poon. The Poon has a lot of options that let you look like a dog, especially the ear and tail options. Yeah, you block is probably the issue. God, early Dukes is one of the most annoying skips in the game. I'm so bad at it. It's only annoying because I'm bad at it, admittedly, but also that is quite a good chunk of damage. Oh. Okay. Ah! Okay, onto the DLC now, right? I think. I think it's hard to have an Atlas character that doesn't look cute, to be fair. Yeah, I'll do Calamy. We're going into the DLC pretty early. However, I do want to Neum, because getting down into the DLC takes forever. I'm kind of debating with the starting weapon runs whether or not I want to use glitches. I think I will, just because that's how I do all of my streams, and I think glitches make the game more fun in a lot of ways. But Doing send skip and depth clip 10 times in a row might get a little tedious. 8-1 sugar. Re-recorded gameplay. Yeah, I'm speeding up the footage for sure. Speedrun invalid. No, my speedrun world record. Because I accidentally had my trans woman abilities activate and went way too fast. So now people are gonna think that I'm cheating in my speedrun. That's actually why trans women are so good at speedrunning. Because we can just go faster when we want to. We have to hide it though, because otherwise people will think we're cheating. That's bigotry. But, ow! I was not ready for that at all. Bonk. Extremely difficult Sanctuary Guardian fight. Speedily running. You're an ally. That's incredibly based of you. Different trans women have different abilities, actually. Because I'm autistic for Dark Souls. And Sonic. Specifically Sonic, actually. I can go really fast. It's because you don't have the Sonic autism. Look at all this royal wood. Isn't any window there. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. Fun fact, the Hellkite Drake, when it lands, actually has a hurt box. Or has, rather, a hitbox that will damage you. If you somehow land, or get into the way where it lands, it will actually hurt you. Unlike Calamite, who does not have a hitbox that will hurt you. Yes. Your ability, oh my goodness, it's making a good-looking character every time. I have the opposite of that. I have to press the random button until I find something that I kind of like. Actually, that's not true with Atlas, but with Atlas, it's kind of hard to not make a good-looking character. The dogs died. Rest in peace. I'm the land speed record. Me too. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. Actually, that was the last ladder. I should have done the whispering snake eater. I think one of my favorite bits, that reminded me of a bit in a video. One of my favorite bits in any video that I've ever uploaded was in the video I did with Aurora, where we did Ornstein and Smo. He said, "I want a burger that squirts in my mouth," and I'm sure you can imagine where that went. And I think the sensor timing was a pretty good comedic timing there. I was proud of that one. That was a really good video. Or it was funny. I need to do more stuff with her. We were doing a Demon Souls thing, but we haven't finished that yet. Wow, that was greedy. Ouch. This might not break, actually, in 2 hits. That's not good. I might die here. Never mind, we're safe. That was scary. I need to heal. Oh. Oh, I didn't think that would go that far. I need to heal. Damn it. Yeah. I agree. I think more enemies should have grab attacks in general, really. Okay, I'm gonna be less greedy this time. Because that was just kind of a downward spiral. I just gotta not try to do 2 R2s in a row for no reason. That's so annoying. Hold on. 1 second. This is a non-issue. We have technology. Hello? What? Can I not activate the elevator? Okay. Oh, that's probably there so you can't like fall onto the switch and send it up. Which they didn't do in Elden Ring. Because there are elevators that you can activate from the top by dying on the switch. Good luck, y'all. I hope you enjoyed the game. I have like 120 something hours in Atlas. I like it quite a bit. Oh, you know, I should probably use Power Within, actually. That's probably not a safe time to use it, but it's fine. Here we go. I don't think the R2s are necessary for stance breaking, but damage is damage. That has a follow-up. Read. Never. Not me. Yeah, Nintendo. Ugh. Oh my god, there was a... I think it was Mahler. Because of course it was Mahler. But in one of the videos, H-Bomber guy says that Artorias rolls like a person would. And I'm pretty sure it was Mahler. Says, no human ever... Or no human can roll like that. Like, he's obviously not obviously talking about a player in the game. Not like a real life actual person. And that, I think, is one of my favorite instances of someone who thinks art is objective being stupid. I think those words worked correctly. Who's had what for 14 years? Don't even reach Angela's hips. That's the ideal situation to be in, I think. Oh, I should probably do this so I don't get tripped up later by there being a random extra. Oh yeah, the follow-up? Yeah. I'm not usually greedy, so I don't see a lot of follow-up attacks. You know. Krista, is this a nod to you being short? Is that the bit there? Stop laughing at me! Stop it! Ah! I don't think I've ever seen that attack. Okay. Another crab's treasure. Oh, I don't remember the character's name. There's a character who calls you Hun, and I'm not gonna elaborate. I think you can figure out where my brain was going from there. I should play another crab strategy again. I've played it like 2 or 3 times. I played it once for that challenge run, and then I played it once to 100% it. And I don't think I've touched it since. Hello, Tori. We're right at the end. We just had 3 bosses left, so I'm glad you're able to get here. True. Older women calling you hun is peak. That's what I strive for in life. This went shockingly well. Oh, okay, never mind. The hardest part of the entire DLC. This is your hubris, but I'm not going to heal. That was scary. My whole life flashed before my eyes. Krista, I think that might be a little bit specific. I don't know. I feel like not everyone would like that. Pet names are pretty great. I don't know. Personally, I'm really bad at calling people pet names because it feels weird. But being called pet names is nice. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I think she's too far back to give me back shots anyway, so it should be fine. That's awesome, Envy. I wish it was that. Oh, the humanity. Hardest run I've done. The Ghostblade run, for sure. Like just using the Ghostblade. Nothing special to it. Literally just using the Ghostblade is the hardest run I've ever done in Dark Souls 1. That's a lot of damage. That was really early. I am shocked I didn't get hit there. Oh, that was greedy. Damn it. I'm bad at dodging that attack too. Okay. One more? No, 2 more. No! Everything's fine. Don't mind me being bad at Dark Souls. Hold on. Also extremely greedy for literally no reason. Oh. Okay. Everything's fine. There we go. That was excessively greedy, but it's okay. I have power within, but this shouldn't do too much damage here. Yeah. I don't know. Can she aggro? Actually, I don't think she can. I don't know why I'm always worried about killing her, even though I have a bare fist. Okay, Calamite time. Being called sweetie or hun by a diner waitress is your kink. That's understandable, to be honest. Puddle's a really cute pet name. Okay, yeah. I was thinking that I needed to go activate Calamite for a sec, but I remembered. Hello, Alyssa. Welcome. We have Calamite and Gwyn left, so you showed up just in time to say hi. This run has been going by really quickly. One of the faster runs I've done. That's unfortunate. I hope your preoccupation was better. The Scythe is, I mean, it's fine. It's good, but it's far from the best weapon in the game. Monster fucker and toxic old man Yahweh bosses left. True. I don't know. It's good. The Great Scythe is good. It's better than most weapons, but compared to like a lot of other weapons, it's like not incredible. Like Gargoyle's Halberd is better. The Balder Side Sword is better. I would argue the Broadsword is better. The Painting Guardian Sword is better. I would argue the Falchion is better. You were the one who was cooking. I don't know how to cook. I don't know how much I can help with that. Yeah, I've never used it for an entire playthrough. I've used it for like half the game before, but I've never used it for a full playthrough before. I do like broads. You Vector saying, who's this broad? And kind of curious. Krista did pay for first place. Oh, hold on. Hold on, Calamite. Give me 1 second. I gotta activate Power Within. Then yes, I am aware, but I have to... I have to feign ignorance. Calamite came out swinging. Okay, not bad damage. Yeah, really? Right in the cloaca. That was an extremely gritty attack, but it worked out. Oh. Okay, one more. Yes, significantly. There we go. Which is why you were the one doing the cooking. Alright, extremely difficult Calamite fight. Barely made it through that one. Never punished. My greed is never punished, ever. My greed has never been punished. Right, good stat spread. That was an insanely fast Calamite fight. Composite bow is better. But that was insanely fast. Hello, Loot Crate. Welcome. I love the random noises of befuddlement that Ramped makes. Then I think your cat is on your keyboard again. You might want to check that out. Oh, you know, I'm kind of nerfing myself. Okay. Now what's the damage? On a backstab? That's not bad at all. This place looks like Dark Souls 3. Except in this game, it's only one area that looks like this. So it's not... so it's like, it stands out aesthetically instead of blending into literally everything else. Oh, okay, I understand, Ben. I appreciate the clarification. Sonic Hedgehog autism, not Sonic Hedgehog specifically. Okay, let's see our damage. Plin, plin, plon. Alright, not bad. Sonic Tism Hog. On autism. As you should. There we go. Extremely difficult Gwyn fight. Barely made it through that one. Okay. Final thoughts on the Great Scythe. It's pretty good. I understand why it has the renown it does. It's not the best weapon in the game. It is pretty great. Yeah. I don't know. It's a good weapon. It has... I don't know. I would take the Gargoyle's Halberd over it. But the R2 is really, really nice as opposed to the spin on the Gargoyle's Halberd. So I do understand preferring the Great Scythe for sure. Yeah, it's a good weapon. Definitely within like the top 2 tiers of weapons in this game. He got bisected with an entire scythe through his chest. The Grim Reaper fit with the gold hemming. Really. The running attack is also pretty good, but I prefer the halberd running attack, to be honest. The Gargoyle's Halberd. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love you all, and I don't know how to end this.